Vasant,
Good afternoon. Welcome to OoC-IIScPress book release event. The title of today's book is Fundamental of Physics, authored by Professor Natarajan. This is the first time OoC Press is doing a release. IIS is the publishing platform of Indian Institute of Science. It was launched in the centenary year of the institute in 2008 with the mission to publish quality books at affordable prices. It is now part of Office of Communications, Indian Institute of Science. OoC Press individually and also along with its publishing partners, the World Scientific Company and Cambridge University Press publishes several books yearly and authored by authors from across the globe, and the books are distributed worldwide. May I now request Professor Amresh Chakravarti, Chair, IISc Press, and Professor Center for Product Design and Manufacturing, IISc, to deliver the welcome address.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so good evening to all of you and very warm welcome to all of you. It's a very happy occasion, I think, and it is also special, as Bitasta says, that this is the first online book release event that we are organizing, and we are all very excited about it, that this is being organized with a book from no one other than Professor Vasant Natarajan. So I would just like to give a brief overview to you about IISc Press. So allow me to just share my my slide. So IISc Press was initiated at the time of Professor Balram as the director in 2008 with a mission to bring quality books at affordable prices. Please note both of them. We would like to bring quality books and at affordable prices, especially for Indian postgraduate education in science and engineering. And it was launched in the centenary year. Since we have been, apart from publishing books on our own, we have been publishing a number of books together with our partners, and that's World Scientific Publishing Company since 2008 and Cambridge University Press since 2013. We have a number of series in which these books are published. One is the Centenary Lecture Series, where World WSPC is our co-publisher. The IISc Research Monograph Series, where again they are co-publishing with us. IISc Lecture Note Series, and then apart from that we have also IISc Popular Science Series and biographies and other general books. So we have also added a new series since during 2019 last year, IISc Ecology Series. This is with the Cambridge University Press. We also had the IISc Press logo redesigned in the same year. Now, just like any other university press, we don't only publish books from our own university. It is open to everyone, including those from outside India. And we have so far published a number of books. I think I'm just going to flash it through quickly. As you can see in the Centenary Lecturer Series, we had books from Professor Sienna Rao, Professor M.S. Swaminathan, and others. And in the Lecture Note Series, we had books from Professor M.L. Munjal, Professor Yadati Narahari, which is a very popular book. In the miscellaneous section, we had a very popular book, which was like a coffee table book by Natasha Matre, Secret Lives. I think most of you are familiar with that. And then a whole bunch of other books around that. In fact, there is a book by Art in Science that is done by Bitasta herself. We also have a number of biographies, including that by Maurice Travers, Genomic Quacks, a number of other books. So there are popular science books such as an Aero Basics book, which is quite popular by Professor S.P. Govindaraju and others. So we have, I'll not go and detail all of them, but over 40 books have been published in these years. And we have 6 books that are right now in the pipeline for being published. The IISc Press Committee consists of Professor Diptiman Sen, Professor S.P. Arun, and Professor Prabal Maiti, and my sincere thanks to all of them for doing an excellent job. Of course, overseen by Professor Kaushal Verma, who is the chair of the Office of Communications. So I would like to encourage all of you to join us in publishing more books, because without that we cannot carry on the teaching as we do. And IISc Press needs its help from all of you for taking this further. So thank you very much, and once again a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Professor Amrit Chakravarti. May I now request the series editor, lecture notes series, Professor Diptiman Sen, member of IISc Press Committee and Professor of Center for High Energy Physics, IISc, to give us an insight into the book.
So thank you, Bitasta. Let me share my screen now.
Professor Chakravarti, you have to stop sharing. Yeah, sure.
So can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes, both.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just say a few words about both Vasant and his book. I feel actually very honored to be able to say something on this occasion, because Vasant has been a close friend and colleague for many years. Essentially, ever since he joined IISc 24 years ago. So we have had many discussions on physics over the years, and we have even co-authored an article, on special theory relativity in this popular science magazine called Resonance. So I've had a very good time talking to Vasant about all kinds of things, and even doing some work with him. So let me say a few words about his education. So Vasant did his BTech in IIT Madras in 1986 in electronics engineering, then a master's in Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in 1988, and a PhD in MIT in 1993 in the USA. Then he worked in AT&T Bell Labs for 2 years, and then returned to India and joined the Indian Institute of Science in 1996, where he is currently a professor in the Department of Physics. I just want to say a few words about his work. He's done very important work in the area of modern atomic physics, which is actually quite a vast subject. And the particular things that Vasant has worked on include laser cooling and trapping of atoms, quantum optics, optical tweezers, quantum computation in ion traps, and tests of time reversal symmetry using laser-cooled atoms. He has many highly cited papers, but 2 of them which are most highly cited and which I also like very much involve interactions between light and matter. So in the first paper, Vasant and his colleagues showed that you can actually transfer orbital angular momentum from photons to an atom, which is quite amazing. So you take a beam of photons of a particular type called Laguerre-Gaussian, which have orbital angular momentum in addition to the usual spin angular momentum. And then when this photon strikes an atom, it transfers its angular momentum to the atom. So using this idea, then they showed in the second paper that they can use this to initiate the rotation of a Bose-Einstein condensate of atoms, turns out to be sodium atoms, in a toroidal trap. And then this condensate of many, many atoms, it keeps rotating with a particular angular velocity. And this can last for a long time, as long as 10 seconds, if you transfer orbital angular momentum of Planck constant. Okay, so this is actually quite a fascinating experiment, and I really like this work, so I thought I'll tell you about it. Now, Vasant has received several honors for his research. These include the Sarna Jayanti Fellowship from DST and the Homi Bhabha Fellowship from the Homi Bhabha Fellowship Council. He also held the MSIL chair in the Division of Physical and Mathematical Sciences in IISc for 3 years, 2015 to 2018. Vasant has published more than 90 papers in refereed journals. And he has published 2 books earlier, Modern Atomic Physics in 2015 and Physics Matters in 2016. In addition to all this, he has written numerous articles on physics, social issues, rationalism, against superstition in various journals and newspapers. Okay. I thought it would be interesting to see a few lines from a review of his book, Modern Atomic Physics, which came out in the CERN Courier, because it gives a flavor of his style of writing and presenting things. So the reviewer says the following: the book addresses the basics of atomic physics and state-of-the-art topics. It explains material clearly, although the arrangement of information is quite different to classical atomic physics textbooks. The physics content is often accompanied by the history behind the concepts and by explanations of why things are named the way they are. Then it goes on to talk about various chapters of the book and finally concludes by saying, overall, the book is a very good guide to the topics relevant in modern atomic physics, and its style makes it quite unique and personal. Similar comments can be made about his second book called Physics Matters. In fact, I have a copy of it given to me by Vasant several years ago, which discusses many interesting topics in physics, again in a very unique and enjoyable style. He discusses topics in physics. He discusses physicists like Einstein and Dickey, and he discusses, the subject matter of 5 Nobel Prizes in the areas of atomic physics and optics. And so this is actually a very nice book to go through. So let me now turn to the book called Fundamentals of Physics, which is being released today. Now, in this book, Vasant has presented a number of basic concepts from all areas of physics, including classical mechanics, quantum mechanics, statistical mechanics, electromagnetism, and even the special and general theories of relativity. It's not a very long book, it's just 160 pages. So he's chosen his topics in a very clever way so that, you just get a flavor of each of these subjects, what is interesting about each of these areas. And so he's chosen the most interesting problems and discussed them using fairly elementary mathematics. Okay, so just to give an example of the kinds of things that he has talked about, there's a discussion on the principle of least action, followed by something called the brachistochrone, which people who have learned about classical mechanics may have seen. It's basically the shape along which a particle falling will take the shortest time to go from the top to the bottom. Then he talks about gears and the hydraulic press. He talks about quantum mechanics and in particular Schrodinger's cat and entanglement. Then in statistical mechanics, he talks about heat engines and refrigerators. In electromagnetism, he talks about radio communication and lock-in amplifier and so on. So I just want to give you a flavor of, the really wide areas that he's talked about in his book that, you'll find interesting. So you can turn to almost any page in the book and find something which is explained in a simple and entertaining way. The book would be very useful for high school students and laypersons who want to have some understanding of the key concepts of physics and their applications to everyday technologies. And for those who want to learn about some of the topics in more detail, Vasant has also provided a number of problems which they can work out. And some of these problems will naturally lead the reader to explore and go on to more advanced ideas. Okay, so let me just conclude by saying that this is a really delightful book that a beginner would enjoy, and even an advanced reader will find some interesting nuggets of information in many pages in the book. So I'm happy to recommend this book to all of you. So that's basically all I wanted to say about the book. And finally, let me end by wishing Vasant a very happy birthday, because this happens to be his birthday. So happy birthday, Vasant. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Diptiman Sen, and happy birthday to Professor Vasant Natarajan. May I now request Dr. Gayatri Vasant to tell us about the author, Professor Vasant Natarajan, and give us a glimpse of the background of writing this book.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm reading this on behalf of Vasant. It's a pleasant coincidence that my book is being released on my birthday. This book evolved from my daughter's request to teach physics to her. Many of the concepts are to help high school students and undergraduates understand and enjoy physics. The 4 pillars of physics, namely Classical mechanics, quantum mechanics, electricity and magnetism, and statistical mechanics are covered in this book. It's a well-known fact that we understand a subject only when we teach it. I have referred to my notes from MIT to write about these 4 pillars. I have taught these basic courses except for statistical mechanics, which I had to start from the beginning. I have chosen the topics not necessarily for completeness, but to relate to our experiences in daily life. The only advanced course I have taught is in atomic physics, which resulted in a book published by OoC-IIScPress in 2015. I'm also happy that the present book is being published by OoC-IIScPress because I have been teaching these courses here since I joined after my postdoc in 1996. The questions at the end of each chapter are from the doctoral qualifying exam at MIT. I'm hopeful that this book will help students understand and love physics as much as I enjoyed putting it together. I'm deeply grateful to Deeptiman for taking a personal interest in getting this book published. I thank my student Sumanto for making the figures and my assistant Raghuveer for typing assistance. I thank the director for releasing this book. Finally, I also want to acknowledge the support I have received from my wonderful colleagues, friends and family over the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gayatri Vasant. May I now request the Director of Indian Institute of Science, Professor Govinda Rangarajan, to formally release and launch the book.
Thank you. Let me just make a few remarks before formally releasing it. So it is a very happy occasion that we are all gathered here today to release the book written by Vasant Natarajan. The culture of writing good text and well thought out research monographs is not strong in our institutions. So this is something that I feel we should encourage as it is part of our academic mandate. Of course, books that last provide insights into several diverse themes and areas. By bringing these together, the reader is offered a panoramic view of not just one, but several ideas on how they relate to each other. So when you look at these characteristics of books that last for a long time, I think Vasant's book is a prime example of this. So it brings together many, as Deeptiman pointed out, many fundamental ideas, explains them in a very simple manner, so that the reader can gain very deep knowledge of these topics. So I'm very happy that Vasant has taken the time to write this book. I'm sure this would be one book that will stand the test of time. And many of us, many and future generations will be reading this book for many years to come. So with these few words, let me now formally release the book. So let me take it out.
Professor Rangarajan, can you hold it such that we can see both you and the book? The book is covering your face. Yeah, thank you. I've taken a print screen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Govinda Rangarajan. I think you have combined both the agendas together of talking about the book and releasing it. So we will proceed to the next agenda. May I request Professor Kaushal Verma, Chair, Office of Communications, IISc, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mitasta. I hope I'm audible. So let me begin by first thanking the author, Professor Natarajan, for considering OoC-IIScPress as a platform for publishing his book. As we have seen, this is not quite a textbook. It is written in a very engaging style. And personally, I think it's a wonderful gentle invitation to quickly learning about several interesting things. And I'm very optimistic that this is going to be a very, very popular offering from IIScPress. Thanks to the director for taking time out of his very busy schedule to be here with us today and for sharing his thoughts on this very important matter of writing good quality textbooks. The IIScPress, comprises of Ambaresh Chakrabarti, Deeptiman Sen, Prabal Maiti, and SP Arun. And they've been working extremely hard to ensure that, we publish top quality books with a difference. So whatever you see here today is all due to their efforts. The engagement and the diligence with which they do their bit is just amazing. And last but not the least, I would like to highlight the backbreaking work which is done by both Kavita Harish and Dr. Bitasta Das to coordinate, the countless email exchanges and details that go into producing a book like this. Finally, thanks to all of you for taking time out to be here with us today. This is a wonderful and joyous occasion. I wish I could have invited all of you to high tea as we do customarily, but I'm sure you won't mind if I take a rain check on that. Let me wish you all the very best in these difficult times, and I hope you will stay safe. Please take care. Thank you very much, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Professor Kaushal Verma, and thank you, everyone. And we hope to have your presence in the subsequent book releases of IIScPress, and hope that we can resume the physical functions soon. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.